Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for checking out another episode of Eye on the Community. Of course, I'm your host, Sean Anthony. Up next, joining me is City Council member Rob Dorans. Rob, good to have you back on the program, man. How are you?
Doing great. Good to see you, Sean. Appreciate you having me back.
Yes, sir. Now let's talk about some of the opportunities that Columbus residents have. We're talking about financial assistance with utilities and so many other things. What is the city doing to help families or individuals that may be having some challenges, trying to rebuild, after this past year?
Yeah, well, appreciate the question and the opportunity to talk about these programs. We know that this past year has been tough on a lot of families, particularly working families. I chair the Public Utilities Committee on Council, which focuses a lot on water bills and that kind of thing for folks out there. And we already before the pandemic offered low income and senior household discounts for folks. So those are for people who are 16 up, or anyone who's on any type of public assistance. They're eligible to get a discount through the city on their water bill. But when the pandemic started, we knew that there's going to be a lot of people facing financial hardship, and that's we used federal dollars that the city got to establish a few different types of assistance for folks who might be having a hard time paying their bills. Yet to date, the Public Utilities Department has provided financial help for over 1,800 families. We still have money set aside for more folks. So we're trying to get the word out.
Rob, what can you share about this assistant program that you have available?
So the Department of Public Utilities, their assistance program allows for a one-time payment of up to $750 towards a Columbus water, sewer, stormwater bill, or up to $500 for a power bill if they're a City of Columbus customer. That does not include folks that are AEP customers, so that are in other parts of the city. But those are some pretty significant, savings or ways for folks to really reduce that, because we know we've seen folks that went quarter after quarter after not paying their water bill, and we know that's because a lot of folks are really financially stressed right now.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely challenging out there. So, how does someone find out if they're even eligible for the CARES Act assistance program?
Sure. So they can call the customer service line at the Department of Public Utilities. That's 614-645-8276. They could also visit columbus.gov/utilities, and then they can click on the CARES Act Utility Assistance Program. That should be on that webpage, and then they can find out more.
What's the application process for those funds? What's that like?
So it's really simple. It's all online. You can go ahead and fill it out right there on that columbus.gov/utilities webpage. Or you can certainly download the forms and print them off and mail them back to the city as well. But really encourage folks to, if they're able to do it online, or to give that customer service call in number, just to make sure that, if you're like me, you sort of check things a couple of times and make sure all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. We want to make sure that people have that kind of assistance, making sure they get the application filled out right.
So, hypothetically, if say someone is behind on their bill, can they still get assistance to the funds?
Absolutely. So again, calling that customer service number, not only can they have that direct payment to help out the bill that they already have, but if they think they're going to have trouble, making payments moving forward, the city has an assistance plan where we can set up with folks to make sure that folks are paying what they can when they can, and there'll be no danger of having their water shut off or anything like that.
Okay. Now about the housing, what has Columbus City Council done to help folks that are maybe running behind on their rent?
Right. So, I mean, this has been the other huge aspect of what we've been trying to do with some of these assistance programs. We know that there are thousands and thousands of families across our city that are having trouble. We're having trouble making rent before the pandemic, and this has only exacerbated the existing problem. We just passed an ordinance that Columbus City Council to provide $3 million to the Columbus Urban League for their stabilization program. There's also the Hope Fund, which is managed by Impact Community Action. And folks who are behind in the rent, we need them to call these two organizations in order to make sure they get access to these funds, because we want to make sure that they get that check, they get that help before they find themselves behind and an eviction's filed. We want to make sure that no one ends up in eviction court, and these funds are meant to do so. So you can call the Urban League at 614-484-9110 or Impact at 614-252-2799. And they'll be able to talk with families about how to apply, how to connect their landlord to these resources, because again, we want to make sure that people stay in their homes. And it's so important to make sure that's happening. Even while the pandemic seems to be, sort of slowing down, and we're seeing that things may be normal here sooner than later. But that can change very quickly if a family can't keep a roof over their head.
Yeah. Well, Rob, it's always good to inform our community with this information. Any last minute words you want to say, or website or phone number or anything you would like to put out there before we wrap up?
Sure. Just want to encourage folks again. So that phone number for the Urban League for rental assistance is 614-484-9110. And then Impact is 614-252-2799. And if you're like me and you can't write down too fast, a good friend Google, just throw those organizations' names in there and I'll bring up those phone numbers. And again, just want to make sure that folks get access to the assistance that's out there, because we know it's been a tough year on families. I want to make sure that people are taken care of as we hopefully get back to normal here sooner than later.
Absolutely. I always tell people Google is your friend.
Yeah, indeed.
You can use it. Rob,
Indeed.
always a pleasure, man. City Council member Rob Dorans, thank you so much, man, for joining us on Eye on the Community. Have a good one.
Thanks, you as well. Take care.
Bye.